Let me tell you something a lot of men never realize. You can buy her flowers. You can take her out. You can say, "I love you," every day, and she can still feel unseen. Why? Because you're missing what she actually desires, not what she says out loud, not what you assume she needs, but what her soul longs for silently. Let's talk about the 5 female desires men miss. Most men believe that their physical presence or actions showing up, providing, protecting, are enough to satisfy a woman. They think being there physically is the same as being present emotionally. But here's what many of them don't realize. A woman can sit right beside you and still feel completely alone. Emotional presence is not about being in the same room. It's about being connected fully, deeply, and sincerely to her emotional state. And this is where so many relationships silently begin to fall apart. Because while a man might be ticking all the boxes he calls, he checks in, he sleeps next to her, she's slowly starving for emotional nourishment. What women crave, often silently, is a man who doesn't just hear her words, but feels what she's saying. A man who isn't rushing to solve her problems, but is patient enough to understand them. She doesn't always need a solution. She needs empathy. She wants to feel like her emotions have a place in your world, not as an inconvenience, not as drama, but as something meaningful. And emotional presence doesn't mean being soft all the time. It means being attuned. A woman wants a man who notices the shift in her tone, the way her energy drops when something's bothering her. She wants someone who can see past the "I'm fine" and reach into the silence with genuine concern, not because he's obligated, but because he cares. A woman doesn't want to feel like she's in a relationship with someone who's emotionally absent. She wants to feel like her emotions are safe with you, that she can unravel in your presence without being judged, criticized, or dismissed. When a woman feels emotionally unseen, she may not always argue or fight. Sometimes she just starts withdrawing. Her body might still be there, but her spirit starts walking away. And the heartbreaking thing is most men won't even notice it happening because they're focused on working harder, buying gifts, planning the next vacation, but they're not emotionally present in the now. They're not holding space for her voice, her vulnerability, her emotional depth. Being emotionally present doesn't mean you have to feel everything she feels. It means you care enough to make space for those feelings, to sit with her when she's breaking down, to support her when she's confused, to validate her emotions instead of telling her to relax or calm down. Because when you invalidate a woman's feelings, even unintentionally, what you're really telling her is your emotions are too much for me. And when she hears that enough times, she stops sharing. She starts pulling away. And that's when the real danger sets in emotional distance, the kind that no amount of physical presence can fix. Women don't want perfect men. They don't expect you to know all the answers. What they want is emotional honesty. To know that when they look at you and say, "I'm scared," you won't brush it off. You'll hold her hand physically and emotionally and say, "I'm here." You might not realize it, but emotional presence is the most powerful form of intimacy. It's the glue that holds everything else together. When a woman feels emotionally held, her love deepens, her trust strengthens, and her desire to give, connect, and support you grows effortlessly. So the next time she seems off, don't just ask what's wrong. Be still, be open, be present. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give her isn't your words, your plans, or your solutions. It's your presence. There's a kind of validation women crave that goes beyond words. One that's subtle, emotional, and often completely missed by men. It's not about loud compliments or grand declarations of love. It's about the unspoken energy you bring into her world. It's how you look at her when she walks into a room. It's the tone in your voice when you say her name. It's the small, consistent ways you show her, "I see you, I value you, I still choose you." Many men underestimate how powerful their energy is. You don't have to say a word, but your actions, your eyes, your vibe, your presence, they all speak volumes. Women pick up on everything. The way you hesitate before texting back, the way you look at your phone more than her, the way your attention drifts when she's speaking about something close to her heart. She notices it all, and every moment like that chips away at her sense of being valued. Unspoken validation is about presence. It's about staying connected, even in silence. When she shares her thoughts, she's not just talking. She's inviting you into her world. And when you listen, not just nod your head, but really listen, you're giving her what most women rarely receive, the feeling that her mind, her emotions, her soul matter. And here's the thing, she doesn't always want to ask for reassurance. It makes her feel needy. It makes her feel like she's begging for something that should come naturally. That's the beauty of unspoken validation. It shows up before she has to ask. She doesn't have to say, "Do you still find me attractive?" Because your eyes already told her. She doesn't need to say, "Do you still care?" Because your presence, your consistency, your attention already answered the question. But when that unspoken connection disappears, when the energy shifts and she can feel the distance, it doesn't matter how many times you say, "I love you." Those words lose their meaning when the energy behind them is missing. A woman doesn't want to be loved out of obligation. She wants to be loved out of desire, and she knows the difference. Validation doesn't always come through romantic gestures or sweet words. Sometimes it's in the way you show up. Do you notice the new way she did her hair? Do you thank her for the small things she does without ever complaining? Do you protect her peace when she's overwhelmed? These things matter far more than you realize. They are quiet affirmations that she is seen not just as a partner, but as a woman. Women are constantly bombarded by pressures to be more. Prettier, smarter, sexier, more independent, less emotional, more this, less that. So when she comes home to you, she wants to feel like she's enough, not just in your words, but in how you touch her, look at her, prioritize her. You see, unspoken validation isn't about flattery. It's about making her feel emotionally safe. It's about reassuring her without making her chase it. It's about consistency, the kind that doesn't fade just because time passed or comfort set in. She wants to feel chosen even after she's yours. And that kind of reassurance doesn't require constant conversation. It's built through intention. The quiet but powerful things you do when you think she's not looking. But she is looking. She's always looking. Not because she's insecure, but because she's human, because she wants to feel seen without asking, loved without effort, and valued without condition. When you give her that, the kind of validation that doesn't have to be spoken, she won't forget it. She'll open up to you, trust you, stand by you in ways words can't describe. Because once a woman feels emotionally secure, she gives more than love. She gives everything. A woman's vulnerability is not something she hands over lightly. It's not something that appears on the first date or even after the first "I love you." Her vulnerability is sacred, layered, and often deeply protected. When she gives it to you, truly gives it, it means she trusts you with the most fragile parts of who she is. But for her to reach that space, she needs more than physical affection or surface-level reassurance. She needs safety, emotional safety, the kind that gives her permission to let go, fall apart, and still be loved. This is where many men unknowingly fail her. They expect her to open up emotionally and sexually, to be honest about her feelings, to communicate, to trust. But they don't create the kind of environment where she can. Vulnerability requires space, and not just any space. A space without judgment, defensiveness, or ridicule. A space where she knows her softness won't be used against her later. A space where her fears won't be minimized or labeled as too much. When a woman feels emotionally unsafe, she doesn't always say it. Sometimes she just starts holding back. She stops telling you the full story. She silences her instincts. She keeps her tears to herself. On the outside, she may look fine, smiling, functioning, going through the motions. But underneath it all, she's closed, shut down, guarded. And it's not because she doesn't care. It's because she's protecting herself from being hurt in ways she's likely been hurt before. Emotional safety is about your reaction. When she opens up about her insecurities, Do you make her feel dramatic? When she cries, do you pull away or lean in? When she disagrees with you, do you listen or do you immediately get defensive? These responses may seem small, but to her they tell a much bigger story. They tell her whether or not she's safe to be real with you. And here's what most men don't realize. When you give her that kind of safety, her vulnerability becomes a gift, not a burden. She will show you sides of herself no one else has ever seen. She'll share her dreams, her fears, her past, her body, her love fully and freely. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Because she knows that even at her most fragile, she is still worthy in your eyes. This kind of vulnerability isn't just about deep conversations or emotional breakdowns. It's also about intimacy, real intimacy, the kind where she can express what she wants without shame, where she can admit what she needs without feeling like she's asking for too much, where she can say, "I'm struggling," and know it won't change the way you look at her. That's where real connection lies. But safety isn't built once. It has to be maintained. It's in your consistency, your tone, your patience, your ability to be present without trying to control or fix everything. It's in how you hold her during the silence, how you respond when she's not her best, how you stay when things get heavy. A woman's vulnerability is powerful, but it's also fragile. And if you don't handle it with care, she'll retreat. Not because she's weak, but because she's wise enough to protect herself. But when she finds a man who honors it, holds it, and protects it, she will give him a version of herself that is rare, deep, and unforgettable. Because when a woman feels safe, she doesn't just open up, she blooms. There is a common misconception that once a man wins a woman's heart, the pursuit ends. The dates become fewer, the compliments slow down, and the spark that once set everything on fire begins to dim. What many men don't understand is that the desire to be pursued doesn't disappear once the relationship begins. It deepens. The chase may end, but her longing to feel chosen, wanted, and actively desired never does. In the beginning, everything feels alive. Texts come quickly. Plans are made with excitement. Attention is constant. You look at her like she's magic. You flirt like you're trying to win her soul, and she thrives in it, not because she needs validation, but because she feels seen, wanted, and cherished. That feeling is powerful. It awakens parts of her she's buried. It makes her feel safe enough to give herself to you emotionally, mentally, and physically. But then time passes. Life happens. The energy shifts. What once felt intentional now feels routine. The effort you put in to win her starts to fade, because in your mind you already have her. And this is where the slow erosion begins. Not because she stopped loving you, but because she stopped feeling loved in the way she used to. You assume the relationship is strong because nothing's wrong, but inside her, something's quietly breaking. The belief that you still want her. Pursuit is not about constantly doing more. It's about consistently showing her that she's still your choice. Not just your responsibility, not just your partner, but your desire. She wants to feel that you don't just love her, you want her. There's a difference. Love can be stable, even passive at times, but desire requires intention. It requires presence. It requires effort, and she notices when it's gone. She may not say it right away. She may try to justify it. He's busy. We're just comfortable now. Maybe this is normal. But deep down, a part of her starts to grieve. She misses the man who used to look at her like she was the only woman in the world. She misses the way you used to plan just to see her smile. She misses the feeling of being chosen, not just being there. And here's the truth. Women want to feel pursued not because they're needy, but because they're human. Because they want to be reminded that they're still exciting, still beautiful, still worth the effort. She wants to feel your hunger for her, your curiosity, your admiration, your intentional love. She wants to know that even after the comfort has set in, she still inspires passion in you. This doesn't require money or grand gestures. It requires thoughtfulness. Text her in the middle of the day just to tell her what you love about her. Touch her when you walk by, not because it's expected, but because you can't not. Plan a date without her asking. Ask her deep questions again like you used to when you were getting to know her. Compliment her even when she's in sweats, especially when she's not trying. Show her that she doesn't have to try to be wanted. She just has to be. When a woman no longer feels pursued, she may stay, but parts of her begin to shut down. Her sensuality, her openness, her emotional availability, all of it is directly connected to how desired she feels. But when a man continues to pursue her, to chase her even after he has her, something magical happens. She softens. She opens. She returns that energy tenfold, because nothing makes a woman more loyal, more loving, more giving than knowing that the man she chose still chooses her every single